Paper was like gold in medieval times.
Oh, not tobacco, sugar.
That everything we thought we knew about the world might turn out to be completely wrong.
I'm on the south of Egypt's Red Sea coast, and this place is renowned for its tourism and its beautiful coral reefs. But I want to find out about the food of the people who have survived here for generations in this extraordinary and very harsh landscape. I love Middle Eastern food, but I do know I've still got a lot to learn. Wow, they are sweet, aren't they? So I'm on a journey through bustling cities and lush farmlands. And from glittering coastlines to harsh desert landscapes. If the scorpions or the snakes come, you can see they've been here already. To discover how so many communities have thrived here. 400 breads a day. Yes, you guys are busy. I'll be showing familiar favourites. It's never too late to learn how to make hummus. And sample new flavours. It's like the best kebab I've ever eaten in my life. And I'll be using that inspiration in dishes of my own. Well done, me. This time, forget about gold, this tribe trades in goats.
This is the bank.
This is the bank?
Yes.
I make a new friend.
The Arabic name is called Nigel.
Nigel. And I conjure up a feast fit for a pharaoh. I'm going to cook goat with salsa verde, pickles and bread. I'm in Wadi Al Gamal National Park, which covers an enormous 7,000 square kilometres. It stretches from the crystal clear expanse of the Red Sea and inland to the barren wastelands of the Sahara Desert. I'm up at daybreak to meet my guide, Mohammed.
Hi.
Mohammed?
Hi.
Good morning.
Good morning, John. Hi.
I'm hoping he'll give me some insight into the traditions of the Ababda people and how they survived in this vast and arid expanse. What is this area?
Valley of Camel.
The Valley of the Camels?
Yes.
This is an amazing area. Sustained by the traditions of fishing and herding goats and sheep that still lives on today, the Ababda people once forged a living in this hostile environment, guiding ancient caravan routes across the desert. We seem to be driving for hours, and I don't mind admitting I'm well out of my comfort zone.
Hi. Assalamu alaikum.
So what's this? So this is
Yeah.
Aha, okay.
Great for the
So this is a
traditional greeting.
different greeting.
Yes.
حبيبي طيب كيف حالك شديد كويس عامل كيف صحتك تمام
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm being
have a
told to
seat.
sit down.
Yes,
There's a
have a
fire going,
Yeah.
so I'm expecting something. I don't know what yet. Okay. What's this?
This is traditional coffee. Jabana.
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 So that's green coffee beans, and he's going to roast them.
Yeah. It's grilled first.
Right.
And the grinding with the ginger.
Ginger in your coffee.
Yes.
Sounds delicious.
Yes.
I can start to smell the beans roasting. I mean, you think of this place. Look at it.
Yeah.
The coffee ceremony is central to the idea of desert hospitality. Tribes greeting one another after what could have been potentially days without any human contact is crucial. What's that?
Ginger.
What I'm very quickly realising is you've got to slow down. The pace of the world that I know can't exist in a place like this because it is scorching hot. So sitting under the shade of a tree and waiting for coffee to be made is just a rest. Oh my goodness. That's just rich, aromatic, fresh ground, fresh roasted, gingered coffee. This may change the way I drink coffee forever. So what is that little thing?
This is jabana. Yes.
The pot's called a jabana,
Yes.
and that's why the coffee is a jabana.
Yeah.
It is a real ceremony. I know people might think I'm getting overexcited about a cup of coffee, but I've never seen anything like this before. I think this is fascinating, absolutely fascinating. That little yellow thing, what is it?
Filter, because you don't take the coffee, as this is not growth on this one.
Shukran.
Bye.
is so potent with ginger. It warms the back of your throat. It is of deliciousness. I mean, really deliciousness. Lovely, rich coffee, quite sharp, quite bitter, and then the warmth of ginger in the background.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yes.
And this coffee is fantastic. Just like the coffee beans, their food is kept close by. So that little... All these goats here, what do they do with the goats?
For Ababda, goats and sheep is important because they use the milk and also eat the meat and also sell part of this goat to buy flowers and clothes. And also the man is more power when he have more goats and more sheep.
So is it fair to say that for the Ababda people, goats are like money is to us?
Yes, this is the bank.
This is the bank?
Yes.
But he looks after his bank and he travels with his bank?
Yes.
Sitting around and having a cup of coffee with these amazing people in the middle of the desert reaffirms for me how extraordinary humans are. They travel around, they follow the rains, they herd their goats, they trade, and they sit quietly, drink coffee, and spread the news. Makes you feel pretty special. Many Ababdas still move through the desert with their herds of goats or sheep, following the rain or travelling from well to well. But these days, many Ababda have moved to the towns and villages around the Nile Valley, drive around in pickup trucks rather than riding camels. We're heading even deeper into the wilderness now on the way to cook and eat. But I don't see any buildings around here, let alone a kitchen. Look, there's the goat.
Yeah, it's the goat.
There's already a small fire burning and it looks like they're on the hunt for something very specific. What sort of stones are they collecting?
This is the basalt and granite.
So very hard stone.
Very hard stone and it keeps the heat a long time.
Those stones aren't here. What is this?
No, this is not the stone. This is the old corals.
Coral?
Yeah, old coral reef because the sea is covered this area before.
That's coral.
This, you can find the fossils also there.
Mate, I'm a fossil.
Yeah, shells and the old.
You don't understand the joke, do you?
Yeah.
Let me tell you the joke, yeah? You said you'll find fossils here?
Yeah.
I'm saying I'm the fossil.
Yeah.
I'm the old fossil.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the joke. Now you laugh.
No, the joke. This is true.
That's just the way it is. I'm a fossil. So the goat is going to be for us to eat?
Yeah. We'll put the meat in the spice and the spice 1 hour.
Okie doke. And that's a beautiful piece of goat, that is. It's a kitchen in the desert. As the rocks heat up, the marinade is prepared. Lime, ground cumin and black pepper are mixed together and added to the meat. You know, I've seen little fires to make coffee, now piles of stone to cook goat. Every single thing they do seem to have a different fire. The stones are now hot enough for the marinated meat. I had no idea. I thought this meat was going to go in a pot and be cooked, and the pot's going to be on the stones, but actually the meat's going straight onto the stones. It's cooking on stone. That's amazing. All the little bits, all the big muscles which do all the work and take long, slow cooking, like the leg and the shoulder, have gone in small pieces on top of the stone. Then that belly with all the fat on the foot has been laid across the top as a lid. So actually we're going to get two processes going on here, where the meat's going to cook from underneath but steam through, which will make it lovely and tender with the marinade, and then that piece of belly, all the flavour and the fat will melt into it and keep it moist. Well, I mean, that is brilliant, absolutely brilliant. I mean, I've seen a barbie in my life, but I've never seen anything like this, ever.
Do you smell that?
I can smell it. It smells great.
Yes.
They've built a separate fire, and now they're making a dough with flour, water and salt. I've never seen bread cooked without an oven before. Ah, it's buried in the ashes of the fire. That is, quite simply, impressive. A pit, some coals, a little bit of sand, and bread made from just flour and water. My big question is, how do you know when it's done? Mary Berry would have a problem putting a little fork in there to make sure it's got nothing sticky on it. Amazing. While the bread cooks, the goat is coming along a treat. The marinated spiced meat is slowly cooking away. but it's not being cooked too quickly, because if it does cook too quickly, it constricts and goes tough. And this gentleman now is just turning it ever so gently, every so often, to make sure it's cooked properly, with real care and real attention. I guess you would, after a day in the sun like this, collecting rocks, herding your goats. You're gonna make sure it's cooked beautifully. Once the ashes are tapped off, the bread is ready. And the goat's not far behind. This is when I'm reminded what life is all about. Come to a place like this, which seems very, very barren, and to be invited into with a group of people to eat, and this is it. Simple as it may seem, goat cooked over the fire, spiced and marinated, and some bread cooked under coals. I've never seen anything like it. It smells incredible, and I am starving. Gentlemen, shall we eat?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's go.
Ababda,
Go.
yeah.
Yeah, go on, come on.
Yeah.
It's the best goat I've ever eaten in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the best goat ever. There's always humour. It's just something about people cooking and eating. Being outside like this, the sun's gone down in the middle of the desert. The food is absolutely delicious. The flavour prevailing is that of the lemon juice on the outside from the marinade. But also the stone has made it cook all the way through and be far more tender than I expected. With a little bit of crispy bread, it's the perfect sandwich. I will not forget this moment, I can tell you.
Welcome.
I'm in southern Egypt, learning how the nomadic Ababda people have lived and eaten in the desert and here on the Red Sea coast for hundreds of years. On dry land, goats, sheep, bread and milk are their chief ingredients, as well as their trading goods. But here by the coast, the sea is rich with fish. So I'm keen to find out how they catch their food and how they prepare it. And for a gruff seasoned Aussie deep sea fishing bloke like me, this should be great fun. Are we going fishing in this boat?
Nah, it's for other boat.
Oh.
This boat to take you and us to there.
This boat's going to ferry us to that boat?
Yeah.
I quite like fishing, but that looks a bit small for me.
Yes.
This is going to be fun. Onwards and upwards. You okay? You good? That was graceful.
The fishing is traditional for Ababdan culture. The national park and the resource is very, very important for this is why the Ababda people help to conserve the park.
Can anybody fish here?
No, here is a national park for the Ababda people to fish by line. Just take the fish for him family, and if it have a more, you can sell that.
So it is their livelihood, it's their life.
Yeah, he's in life, yeah.
But they can only fish with that small line by hand
Yeah,
and not with anything else at all.
no, nothing.
So just a bit of fishing line, some tiny fish chunks for bait and a hook. This could take a while. Or maybe not. He's got something. Wow, that is a fish. That's a coral trout. That's beautiful.
The Arabic name is called Nigel. Nigel.
Not Nigel, Nigel.
Nigel.
What a beauty. Big?
Yeah.
Wow, I tell you what, if they're stroking it, won't get any bigger.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
But I mean, 20 minutes we're out here.
Yeah.
One line,
Yeah.
one hook, one bit of bait, and we've caught a fish.
Yes.
My day has been made. It wasn't long before Nigel the coral trout was joined by Graham the groper, Roger the red snapper, and the skinny one is Brian, the barracuda. Hello, how are you? Very nice to see you. Hello again, how are you doing? It seems like all the fishermen have gathered for lunch, and I can feel the heat from the fire, which can mean only one thing. We're going to cook. So the big fish we caught today goes to the families, and then around
other fish, small one is will cook.
They've gone on scales on, guts in, and the scales been burnt off slowly by the ash. I've never had a fish that's not been gutted before. But hey, who knows? These fishermen still seem to be here, so it can't be that bad.
This is the fish now is cooked after grill. We'll take the fish again to the sea. This is traditional.
He just dunks them in the water and gives them a little wash. That's really clever, because it will stop it from cooking, and I mean the fish won't become overcooked.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Never seen that happen before.
Yeah.
Amazing. Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm about to learn how to eat fish Ababda style. Oh, take the skin off.
This is now after one bottled water is easy now to eat it.
Oh, because the water. Look at this. Look how easily it comes off the bone. Take a bit of bread. Just falls apart. Look at all that lovely white flesh. Beautifully white, soft, clear fish flesh, just freshly caught. Fish Ababda style.
Yeah.
Wow. That's really good. The little trick of washing it in the sea to cool it down really quickly is, I think, is inspired because the flesh will now just easily come off the bone. A very, very clever trick I've just learned. Oh, yeah. Oh, great. Yum. Yum. It doesn't get much simpler than that. That fish was delicious. But after my cooking lesson in the desert, I have something very specific in mind for my own dish. Inspired by my time with the Ababda people, I thought it best that I make some goat. I'm going to cook goat with salsa verde, pickles and bread. I'm fortunate enough to have this wonderful spot to cook at the Gorgonia Resort, and it's just a lovely sunrise. The day's about to start. It's going to get quite hot, so I think we might as well get on with it. What I've got here is a belly of goat. If you think about a rack of lamb or even a belly of pork, but this lovely piece has all the bones and the ribs in it, and it will eventually make goat spare ribs by the time I'm finished. So I take this wonderful piece of meat and place it into a pot, and then to flavour it as it cooks, lots and lots of coriander seeds, black peppercorns, and red onion. The Ababda people squeeze lots and lots of lemon juice over their goat to let it cure. I'm going to do something similar, but I'm going to use a little bit of vinegar, which should just help to break down the fat and the connective tissue, which means it'll become tender. And then cover the whole thing with water. And a good pinch of salt. And now for a little chefy trick. When a piece of meat like this, or if you're poaching a piece of fish, or whatever it might be, it will always start to float to the top, which means it doesn't cook evenly. So I'm going to show you how to make something called a cartouche. Take a square of paper, fold it in half to make a triangle, and then keep on folding it in half and then half again. You'll have a point at the end, lots of folds, like origami. I measure from the center to the edge of the pan, cut it to the size of the pan, and then cut a hole in the middle to let the steam out. And the goat now simmers in that poaching liquid very, very gently. And that's the first cook, just to cook it and to make all the muscles lovely and tender before I fry it and make it crispy. After 20 minutes, the goat is ready to come out. So my goat has been poached, taken out of the poaching liquid and just left to cool for about half an hour or so. It is cooked, but food is about texture as well as flavour. And what I want this to be is lovely and crispy. Some more coriander seeds into a dry pan and the tiniest amount of oil. Take the poached belly of goat and put it into the pan rib side up. That means the fat underneath should start to render and cook and become lovely and crispy. The goat will sizzle a little and then eventually it'll calm down. When it starts to calm down, it means the fat is starting to render. Just let it go, let it sit nice and quietly, let it cook really quietly. Just take your time. Meat likes to take its time. Think the Sunday roast and how long that takes to cook. Now for the salsa verde. I mix garlic with a handful of parsley and basil and chop. So there's the verde part, the green bit. Now for the salsa part, the sauce bit. I squish a handful of capers with their brine and add the soft part of the loaf of white bread. And I'm going to keep that lovely bit of crust because when I had the goat with the Ababda people, they had that lovely crusty bread, and I'm going to serve that on the side of my goat. douse it with some vinegar. Get your hands in and really give it a mix about. And to that, I add my chopped herbs and garlic. A pinch of salt. Now give it a really good stir. And now to finish off the goat. The goat has become lovely and crispy on one side, but because the bones are in it, it's going to be as if you put a banana in, so it will be bowed. And the way to make sure it's really hot is to turn it over, and another little chefy trick. Use steam. Steam cooks things a lot quicker than anything else. And now time to serve it all up. Tiniest amount of oil in my salsa verde. I'd use olive if I had it, but here, on the edge of the desert, there are no olive groves. So I'm dealing with what I have. Just make it lovely and rich. Some lovely sliced red onions raw. I like the raw onion with the meat. A little squeeze of lemon juice. There you have it, my goat by the Red Sea, inspired by the Ababda people. Bread, goat, a little bit of sauce and some pickles. Delicious. I have loved my time here on the Red Sea coast, but I've also been educated by the Ababda people on how they use different types of fire to cook different foods to feed themselves. And it's reminded me of human resilience and the way in which we adapt to our surroundings. What an extraordinary place, what an extraordinary way to live.